friends, it's Rana, and today I'm coming to you with a little update to my Reading Around the World challenge. If you don't know, it is a challenge aimed to read more diversely by reading books from every country around the globe. And I started this challenge a few months ago. I was like 46 countries in, and today I'm gonna update you with 10 more countries. Only 6 of them are new to me countries, so I'm gonna talk first about the new countries, then I will talk about the repeated ones. The reason why I'm talking about the repeated ones to introduce you to more books from these countries. So now I am basically 52 countries into this challenge. It's gonna take me years to finish it, but I'm having fun with it. So the first new country we have is Norway, and the book I read for it is Sophie's World by Justine Gardner. This book is a very popular book. You probably already heard of it, but the way I heard of it is because of the Arabic translation of it. It is called Sophie's World in English, and in Arabic Alam Sophie. It is like a light, quick introduction to philosophy for beginners who would like to get into philosophy, but it is in the form of a novel. I am personally not a huge fan of philosophy. I don't like to read about philosophy or hear about it. I don't vibe with philosophy. I don't really enjoy philosophy. So this book talks about this little young girl called Sophie. She is 14 years old. She suddenly starts receiving one day letters in her mailbox by this mysterious philosopher. And all the letters are addressed not to her, but to another girl called Hildy. And this philosopher starts to teach her about philosophy through his letters, but in a simple, fun way for her, as she is a young girl. And it is a fun and easy way for us to understand it as beginners to philosophy. Honestly, I was a little bit intimidated by this book, especially because the Arabic translation of it is very thick. It is like this thick. So I was scared that it's gonna be heavy and I won't be able to enjoy it or understand it, but it turned out to be the total opposite. Perhaps because it is written for a 14-year-old girl, so it was easy to understand for me too. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. It was a really good book. I enjoyed it, even though I thought I'm not gonna enjoy it. I also really enjoyed the twist in the story. I wasn't expecting it. I'm not gonna say what is it, but it was a really good twist that added to the idea of philosophy in this book. The next country we have is Haiti, and I'm not really sure if I made a good choice by picking this book because the author is American Haitian. I would have preferred if it was from person from Haiti, not American Haitian. I don't know how to pronounce that word. So the book is Punching the Air by 2 authors, Ipi Zopoy and Yusuf Salam. I tried to dig around the second author, Yusuf, to see what his ethnicity, but I couldn't find it anywhere. But he is American, and Ibi is from Haiti, and she is also American. The book is written in verse, and it is set in America. It talks about our main character. His name is Amal Shahid. In Arabic, Amal is a female name, and in this book they used it for a boy. So I don't know if people in the West use this Arabic name for both male and females, but in Arabic it is for females only. So Amal Shahid, he was put in jail or sent to jail because of a crime he didn't even commit. Basically, this book is about his story. Amal Shahid is a Muslim young poet, artist, and this short novel written in verse tackles the themes of racism and the injustice in the legal system in America. Again, I don't know if it is the best choice for Haiti, but that's what I read for it. It was a really quick read. I liked it. I liked how it was written in verse, and I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I will try to find another book from Haiti to read to give it a justice as a country, but so far I'm gonna count this one for Haiti. Side note, the story of this book is inspired by the second author, his name Yusuf Salam. That's what I came to conclusion about, that it was inspired by his own story. Sorry if I'm not making sense talking about this book, but it was a very short book, so I don't want to talk about anything to spoil it. Just to give you an idea that I enjoyed it, give it 4 stars, and that it deserves a read. The next country we have is Denmark, and the novel that I read for Denmark is The Chestnut Man by Søren Sivstrup. So this book is set in Copenhagen, and it follows a series of murder cases where in each crime scene a handmade doll made of matchsticks and 2 chestnuts is left behind in the crime scenes. When examining this doll, something was found that is linked to another older case, and the story begins from here, where we are trying to find how these series of crimes is linked to this older case and who did it. It is a little bit of a longer book. It is very bloody, very gory, very shocking, but for some reason I remember enjoying it. I remember the beginning, the story, the characters, but for some reason I can't remember the reveal and who did it. So I might as well watch the Netflix adaptation series of it because it is very well praised, very highly rated. So I think I'm gonna watch it with my family. But overall, as I remember, it was a very good crime thriller novel, and I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I swear, not all these books I give 4 out of 5 stars. We have different ratings for the next few books. But I think it is a good thing that I forgot the reveal and who did it so I could enjoy the Netflix series. The next country we have is Oman, and the book I read from it is Al-Bagh by the author Bushra Khalfan. I recently heard that it was picked for translation. It's gonna be translated to English, but I don't know what they're gonna translate the title to, but it most probably will be The Orchard, because Al-Bagh means in Farsi the orchard. We'll see when they pick it for translated what they will pick for the title. It is by the Omani author Bushra Khalfan. I read this book for a book club. I don't usually participate in book clubs. I believe this is my first. It is a new book club. It is aimed to read a book from every single Arab country, and the book club is called Uruba. This is the first book I read for the book club. They started with Palestine, but that book I already read before, so I didn't reread it. And this is the second pick for the month of February, and it is Oman. It follows Raya and Rashid, a brother and sister. They leave their hometown because of some injustice that happened to them from their uncles and the townspeople, and they leave it and go to Muscat. We go through them with their journey and how they settle in Muscat and their lives after that in Muscat, and the people they meet, their lives, and how it unravels after that. Especially, I felt like they focused more on the sister Raya than Rashid. With them, we go through the political events and conflicts that happened or occurred in Oman in the past through multiple years. And I felt that it was very informative for me. It is very, very well written, devastating. I love the characters. I didn't feel a moment of boredom reading this book. And it is a rare case because at the start, like half the book, nothing really that of importance happened, but I really was enjoying the writing style, the characters, their day-to-day lives. Then the last quarter of the book happened and everything was happening too fast, one after the other, and I felt a little bit of an abrupt ending, but it was a very good one. Devastating, but very informative, and gave me a new insight to the country of Oman, given that I don't know much about it before reading this book. Another book that I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Now going for the next country, we have Argentina, and the book I read for it is Elena Knows by Claudia Pinheiro. Sarita is found dead in the bell tower of the church, but officials quickly close her case as suicide. However, her mother thinks she was murdered because Rita doesn't go to church on rainy days, and she was found dead on a rainy day. The mother suffers from Parkinson's disease, and all the events of this very short book are set in under 24 hours, where the mother is trying to find the truth about the death of her daughter. It is a very, very good book. I was enjoying it till a certain point. I was enjoying it. I was really on the edge of my seat, trying to see what happened, who killed Rita, if she was murdered. Again, I found the ending to be very sudden. I didn't like it. I understood the message. I totally understood the message, but I don't want the afterwards or the author's note to try to explain to me the ending. I want the novel itself, the story itself, to have a better conclusion to it, not the afterwards or the author's note. I understood what the author was trying to say, but I wanted justice for the book. I wanted a better ending for it. That's why I knocked a star from the rating and gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Now, going to Africa, to the Democratic Republic of Congo, I read How Dare the Sun Rise by Sandra something. I'm not gonna try butcher her name. It is very hard for me, so we will call her only Sandra. This book is a very short memoir of the author talking about her life in Congo and the struggle, discrimination, and things that they faced there before they ended up as refugees in refugee camp because of the conflict and the war that's happening. She also witnessed a massacre. She lost her sister before all of her family tried to immigrate to the US, then successfully immigrating there, where she is trying to deal with the trauma of it all and what she faced back in Congo. I felt like this book was missing a lot of things. I still don't exactly know what the conflict that was happening in Congo. I went out of my way and tried to look it up, start understanding some things, but I would have preferred that if she added some politics in it, explaining or delving into the history of it all and the politics, so we could understand a little bit more of the context of the war that she went through, rather than keeping us in the dark, guessing or trying to understand what this little girl went through. I know it is my fault being uneducated about this matter or about Congo, but I really wanted the book to explain it more to me, to give me details of what was happening and why. It would have been 10 times better of a book if it delved a little bit in the history and politics of what was happening and the massacre and the afterwards of it and what led to it. It focused more about her life after immigrating to the US more than her life in the Congo, which I picked the book up for in the first place. I'm gonna try to do my side of the work and try to look more about the situation of Congo and what happened back then and what is happening now. So I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. I know a lot of people don't like to rate memoirs because it is like rating someone's life, but I'm rating the book, not the story of the person's life. So these were the 6 new to me countries. Now I'm gonna quickly mention the 4 books I read from 4 repeated countries I read before, just to introduce you to more books from these countries if you are struggling to find some. And the first country is Egypt, and I read a graphic novel called Shubbaik Lubbaik by Dina Muhammad. This is a graphic novel in Arabic. It was first published in Arabic, first part, second part, and the third, and then it was later translated to English under the same title, Shubbaik Lubbaik. If you don't know what Shubbaik Lubbaik means, it's like your wishes are my commands. A fantastic graphic novel. I believe it is now one of my favorite graphic novels ever. I loved it so much. It talks about if we live in a world, the same our modern world, but we have wishes in bottles like these ones, where we can buy them and wish something. These wishes, not all of them are first-degree wishes. Some of them are third-degree, so you won't always get what you wish for with the third-degree wishes. As for the first-degree wishes, they are very expensive. Can't get your hand on it because of some government restrictions recently. I loved it. It was funny, heartbreaking, eye-opening. I really enjoyed it, especially the first and the third one. The third one is an fantastic, epic, perfect. Everything about it was chef kiss. The second one is the least I enjoyed out of the three, but overall, I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. If you are looking for a quick, fun read from Egypt, I recommend you to read this one. The next country is another Arab country. It is my country, Syria, and the book I read for it is As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow by Zulfa Qatu. This book, I talked about it a lot of times on my channel. I have a whole separate review video for it, and I talked about it on my top books or my favorite books of 2024. This one took the first place for my top 10 books of 2024. It's basically like a love story in the time of war in Syria or during the recent revolution in Syria, following two characters, falling in love and finding peace within each other in a time that there is no peace around them. I love it. Beautiful. Also, my recommendation if you would like to read something from Syria, this one. Now, from a neighboring country to Syria is Lebanon, and the book I read is Druze Belgrade by Rabi' Jaber. This book, I don't believe it was translated to English. No, it wasn't. It talks about Hanna Yaqub. Hanna Yaqub is a Christian Lebanese person, I believe in the 1800s, in 1872, where he is a simple man. He lives next to a church with his wife, pregnant wife, and he sells eggs every morning. He was on the wrong place on the wrong time. He was taken on a ship and sent to Belgrade instead of someone else that they claimed he is Druze. If you don't know who Druze are, you can look them up. A lot of history behind them. So they lied and said that he is Durzi and took him and tortured him and sent him on this trip to Europe to be put in prison with all other Druze people. Even though he kept saying that, no, I am Christian, my name is Hanna Yaqub, I live next to the church, nobody listened to him and they beat him up and took him on the ship. Very heartbreaking book, very devastating. I believe it was inspired by real events that happened in Lebanon, but Hanna Yaqub himself as a character is not a real person. It was a great book. I would recommend you to read it if you'd like to read a book from Lebanon, but it was not translated to English. So if you know how to speak or read Arabic, read this one. I forgot to tell you my ratings for the previous two books. Shubek 5 stars, As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow, another 5 stars, and this one I gave 4 stars. And last but not least, I read a book from Jordan. It is called Ana Yusuf, or I Am Yusuf by Ayman Ertoum. Another book that I don't think it was translated to English yet. It talks about the story of the Prophet Yusuf or Joseph in English. So it talks about his story, how his brothers tried to get rid of him and how he was taken to Egypt and how he became a king and whatever. It is the same story from Quran. It is pretty similar to the story in the Bible, and how the author added some things and made it a novel. I didn't really like it. The author is very good in his Arabic language. He is very educated and he knows how to write in Arabic. I will never be able to write anything near how good he writes in Arabic, but aside from his writing style, I didn't enjoy the choices he did in the story of Prophet Yusuf. Many people are fans of this author. I think he is not the one for me, so I won't recommend him if you would like to pick a book from Jordan. So that's it for all the 10 countries I read for my Read Around the World challenge. I will be updating you every 10 countries or so to share my journey with you reading books from all around the world. It will probably take me years, but I'm here for it. Why not? It is really fun to go into and delve into and get introduced to other people's cultures and other countries' cultures. I really like it and see how literature is different from country to country. Please, I would highly appreciate any recommendations you have from any country in the world. As you see, I'm not only reading from countries I haven't read before, I'm also reading from countries I already read from, because I always like to be diverse in my reading and to read all around the world, not just one book from one country. I don't mind reading multiple books from the same country. We need to widen our horizons and stop reading from the same 3 countries we always read from. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. It hopefully won't take me this long to read the next 10 books for this challenge, and I will see you next time. Bye!